Welcome to this SELMA tutorial. I'm your host David, and today we're talking about all the new features in the October 2021 release. In this release, we're releasing a new reporting function called Grid Reports. It is available under the normal reporting menu. Once you open Grid Reports, you will be presented on the left-hand side with a report selection option. This will show you all the reports that are currently in your system, and by default it will come with a few SDR type reports as well as intake student and enrollment report. Once you select the report that you would like to run, you will be presented with available filters on the left-hand side. On this particular report, you have an intake start date between filter, which is mandatory to run the report. I'm going to go ahead and select all intakes for the current year between the 1st of January and 31st of December and run this report. You can see on this right hand side here we have the report grid appear with all the information that is available to you, and also there's a vertical or horizontal scrolling available if there's more information presented that the screen can fit. There is further filters available here that are non-mandatory, but we'll try to use one of these anyway. For example, I want to search for all intake codes containing ALX. I can run this report again, and now only intake codes containing ALX are available. There is also a full dynamic search available that you can just type in, and it will search for keywords anywhere in any column of your report result. This report can now be exported to a CSV file, which can take a while if your dataset is big. And if you do so, it will be emailed to you. That is because of A, data security, and B, the size of these files can be quite big, so a download may take too long. You can also see on top right here, it says 6 rows found out of 2000 megs. This reporting tool will only allow you to show up to 2000 rows in total. I'm going to change the report here and go to the SDR detail report and selecting the current year and run this. You can see this time around it shows that it has found 2000 or more rows, and it's only showing 2000 on the screen. The little question mark button will also give you a hint on why this is. In this situation, only 2000 rows will be presented on the screen, but you can download the report into CSV to see more than 2000 rows if that is what you want. Or you can add more filters here to reduce the selection down and make it less than 2000 rows. It is also important to mention that these reports are out-of-the-box reports, but if you would like to have custom reports, we can add them for you. Just reach out to support and we will be able and happy to help you developing further reports for this section. We are always working on improving security in SELMA. This is why this time we're introducing a new function called Security, which is related to login in SELMA. Security menu is available for all registrars in the system. Once I open it, I can see that the system by default is set to the SELMA login. And you can see here the available login is the SELMA login form. This is what you've been used to using so far. It is worth mentioning here that some SELMA users use their Google or Microsoft accounts to log into the system. If you do this at the moment, everything will stay the same for you. If you currently use the standard SELMA login, everything will stay the same to you until the end of this year, where we introduce something called SELMA 2FA login. 2FA stands for two-factor authentication, and we will ask you to verify your login with a code that we send to you either via email or via mobile app. To show you how this works, I'm quickly switching this over to use 2FA and mobile app in my situation. Once this is saved, I'm going to log out of SELMA. And on my attempt to log in, you can see SELMA is now asking me for the two-step verification code. In this situation here, it is set to send me the code via mobile phone. I have to open the app on my mobile phone and type the code in that the app presents to me. and now I'm back in SELMA. The same process works through email as well. SELMA supports 3 different login app providers for iPhone and Android, and these are Microsoft Authenticator, Google Authenticator, and Duo. You can also choose to use email. In this situation, the code will be sent to you to the email that you use to log into SELMA normally. The next feature is called Placement, and it is available under Enrollments. On any enrollment, there is a new tab called Placement in the back. This app allows you to track placements of students. This could either be a student leaving your studies and goes into employment, and you want to track the outcome and where they have been employed after they've studied with you. Or it could be something like work practice during the enrollment with you. The last option would be a Ministry of Social Development contract where you want to track the placements of your clients. To add a placement, simply add the placement button, select when the placement starts and what the employment type is, and the organization they've been placed with. You can add further information like the type of industry they're in, or their job titles, hours per week, hourly pay, etc. You can save this placement and you will now have a record of where the student was placed, and you can go ahead and add further details anytime of the placement. You can also add further placements if a student chooses to come back to you or chooses to want to be placed in another organization or actually does another work experience in another organization during your studies. Please note that this feature is not available with all SELMA subscriptions, and if you like to use it, please reach out to support and we can work with you to enable it. If you are a subscriber to the comms module of SELMA, you will see a lot of changes in this SELMA release. Under settings, I'm going to go to comms templates. One thing that has been improved is when you create a new template, it will ask you straight away if you want to create an email, PDF, or text message template. Depending on what you choose, it will now define somewhat more specific where this template can be used. For example, I'm using this as an attachment to an email in the enrollment. Another thing that you will see has improved vastly is the amount of mail merge fields available to you when you send emails or attach PDFs to emails. The list has been vastly increased, and we've added a search functionality so you can search for the mail merge field that you want to use. Everything else still works the same. You can type your PDF and message and use mail merge fields to build dynamic PDFs and emails and text messages being sent from SELMA. When the template is saved, we've also improved the preview functionality and we'll show you what exactly will be sent with the mail merge fields that you've been using. There is also now an option to clone templates. If you have a complex template like this university offer with many mail merge fields, you can clone it and then use this template again to build something similar. You will see that the template name has automatically copy1 added. Here you can change the template name to better suit what it should be in SELMA. The next improvement that has been made is when sending emails or text messages out of SELMA from an intake, you will have a lot more functionality. To show you this, I'm going to open up an intake from this year. I go into edit mode, and on the Students tab, I will start sending an email. This dialog now allows you to select the students that should receive the email that you're about to send. By default, every student with a confirmed type status or an active type status is selected, and every student that is not active in the enrollment will be deselected by default. Not active meaning it could be a student is withdrawn and will not by default be included in the email that is sent out. Here I can, however, select that certain students in this email should not, certain students in this intake should not receive emails. On the next step, as in the previous version, you are able to select a template that you want to send. We've also improved the preview functionality here, as in to show you what will actually be sent with the mail merge fields here being resolved. A new feature, however, is that you can now attach PDF reports to the email. So this could be, for example, your attendance report. An example to send out could be an attendance warning email for everybody that is below a certain threshold, and you attach the attendance report to the email so the students can review their own attendance on a detailed report. A last feature that has been added is sending emails with multiple attachments. It doesn't matter where you do this, whether you do this in intake or from a student, you are now able to send an email to anyone in the system, whether to a group of people or to an individual, that includes multiple attachments. To show you, I will choose once again a standard template, but this time around I select upload files from my computer. When I browse for the files, I can select all files in a folder, for example. So in this situation, we will be sending an email that has 4 attachments. In the event log of a student, having sent an email to a student with multiple attachments, it will show the attachment in a drop-down list against the email that was sent. Perhaps the most powerful feature related to the comms module is the scheduler. To show you this, I'm going to open an intake. And go into edit mode. There's a new tab called Event Scheduler. This function allows you to either send an email to everybody in an intake or create a task on all the students in the intake based on an event in the system. I will show you creating a task first. I'm going to click the Add button and I say, let's do an alumni follow-up after a certain amount of time. The action is to create an event in the system, and we say we execute this 10 weeks after the enrollment is completed, or the enrollment end date in this situation. We create a node type of alumni warning. We create that even if the enrollments are inactive, because at the stage of 10 weeks past enrollment end date, I would expect that the enrollments are inactive. And I create myself a task and say, follow up with alumni to check if they found employment. In this situation, I assign this to myself. And I say, this is due 10 days after the task has been created. And I'm going to save this. So just to recap what's going to happen here. Everybody enrolled into this intake will have a new task created on their record 10 weeks after their enrollment concludes to say follow up if the alumni has found employment. The task will be assigned to me in this situation, and it will be due 10 days after the task was created. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create an automated email. In this situation, I want to send all students in this intake a SurveyMonkey link once they've concluded the enrollment with us. The action is sending a comms email, and I execute this 5 days after they have completed their enrollment with us. I'm going to use a comms template, in this situation the invitation to our post-study survey. I send this even if the enrollments are inactive, and I save this record. To recap again, in this situation, the system will automatically send an email to the students 5 days after the enrollment completion date. The email will contain the invitation to our post-study survey as the mail body, and in our situation here, this particular template has a SurveyMonkey link where we invite the students to participate in a survey after their studies. Thanks for watching this tutorial. As usual, please reach out to us via support@selma.co.nz if you have any feedback, requests, or if you want any features enabled that we've shown in this tutorial.